Alright everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys a new macro that I made by myself. It's a macro that's fully functioning for the new winter event over here. This macro I made is free to play friendly, and I did test it out for like an hour and 30 minutes. It seemed to run perfectly fine, and yeah, this macro isn't going to be the leeching method that you guys are quite familiar with. This macro is a solo macro where you can just replay over and over again, and it does bypass capture. Well, not really bypass, but it doesn't require the capture feature. The macro is going to be in my Discord server in the description down below. It's going to be in the announcements section, so once you join the server, go ahead and verify, and then it's going to be in the announcements. But don't click off the video just yet, because I do want to clarify a bunch of questions you guys might have for the macro, and alongside with the loadout that you guys are going to need for the macro. But before we begin with the frequent questions and like the loadout stuff, if I could ask for you guys to subscribe and like the video, then I'd be really appreciative. It took me a long time to make this macro, and it's really annoying trying to like set it up in a way where it would bypass all the like the new map changes. But if you guys could like and subscribe, it'd be really appreciative. And enough of that. Let's go and begin with the loadout and the questions that you guys might have. But yeah, first of all, we're gonna go ahead and start off with the questions that you guys might have. Is the macro free to play friendly? It is. The loadout I used to test out the macro is right here. So I got Siren, which is currently unevoed. So I managed to complete the winter event. Well, not really complete. I got to wave 49, and then I died. So yeah, if I had an Evo Siren, I could be able to do it up to wave 50. But just bear in mind, this macro isn't a Dark Mage grind or a Buddha grind. This macro is solely for the purpose of grinding stars. But if you do have really good units, like a unique, like couple uniques, then it is possible to complete wave 50 without picking any of the buffs card or whatever. But yeah, this macro also does heavily rely on the user's units, and the better units you have, the better chances you are of having more stars from the grind, if that makes sense. But I'd recommend using the loadout I'm using without the unique Sid. So let me go and just remove that from the thingy. So the units I mainly used are Siren, which is unevoed, and Itachi, I mean Sasuke. I'd recommend having the units in this specific loadout because that's how I made the macro in. So start off by having Siren in the first hotbar, and then Sasuke in the second. The third hotbar can be like a never damage unit. It could be a normal Sid that doesn't have a unique. If you guys do have a unique unit, that could be the third unit. If you guys don't, then I'd recommend having a really high placement damage unit, like let's say Poseidon for example. I don't have him, I think, but Poseidon could work. I think Irons could also work, but his placement cost could be a lot. I'm not really too sure about Poseidon. You guys could use Usopp, I guess. Usopp's a pretty good unit for this. But yeah, if you guys do have a unique, I'd highly suggest using that as the third unit in the hotbar. And then in the fourth hotbar, you can have Bulma. Well, you need a Bulma for this method. And then the remaining two units have to be the buff units for the event. I'd highly recommend using Siren. If you guys don't have Siren, then get a Evoed, especially. Not like me, having an unevoed. But yeah, try and get an Evo Siren, because it's going to be really useful for the macro, since she is hybrid on placement. Sasuke is a really good burn unit. So if you have any other burn units that you could replace Sasuke, like Itachi for example, then you could probably replace Sasuke with that. Bulma doesn't really need to have golden on it. I just have it and it's kinda useful. And not to mention Siren also does slow, I think. So yeah, Siren's a must-have for this event, for this macro I mean. This macro does use Tiny Task, so if you guys haven't got Tiny Task downloaded, then the link for it's gonna be in the description. Just go ahead and download it, and then I'll show you guys how to enable the macro on it, I guess, and how to do the configuration settings, stuff like that. But I tested the macro for like an hour and 30 minutes, and I got 7,000 stars. Before I had 23,000, but now I have 30k. So I got 7,000 in about an hour and 30 minutes. So if you were to do like an 8-hour grind or 9-hour grind overnight, I'd say you can get like around 30,000 stars. But if you do have like a bunch of unique units or really strong units with good traits, you could easily get like 40,000 per night or whatever. This macro also is a work in progress. Uh, it's still not fully complete. It does work as intended, but it's not fully like polished and everything. So if you guys do want updates on the macros like progress, then join my Discord server. I'm not gonna really make a video on me like upgrading the macro because I don't really need to. So any macro updates are gonna be in my server. So yeah, go ahead and join my Discord server. Now that all the questions completed, I'm gonna go ahead and begin to show you guys how the macro works. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and start to explain how to configure the macro. So once you download TinyTask, it should look like this when you open it. What you're gonna want to do is go to preferences and play at 100 times speed. Make sure you have this enabled or else the macro will not work. And once you have that enabled, enable continuous playback, and that's basically all the settings from here done. Now go over to my Discord server, and in the announcements, the macro should be there. I'll put it in bold, like saying the macro is this. So go ahead and download the macro. Once you have the macro downloaded, if it asks you how to open it, just put it in like a notepad or whatever. Go back on TinyTask and click on open. Once you click on open, the macro should be in your downloads, which is right here. It is called Christmas macro made by Koku, me. So go ahead and just click on the macro and click open. And there you go, the macro is on your TinyTask. So now just leave it there for now, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the winter event. Make sure you have your units like this, by the way. I'm gonna go ahead and equip my unique Sid just for now, but make sure you have your units like this. Your Siren must be on the first hotbar. Your Sasuke or burn damage should be on your second hotbar. Then your like other damage unit should be on your third hotbar. Make sure you have Bulma as your fourth, and then these two don't really matter too much. These are just only for the buffs. But make sure you have your loadout like this. Once they are like this, go ahead and go to the event and click play, and then just wait until you load into the event. Okay, now that we're in the map, all we have to do now is just start, I guess, and then we'll wait for the enemies to kill us, and then that's when we can enable the macro to work. I can't really explain how the macro works step by step because it just goes by so quick, but I'll try and explain what's going on, because you might see your mouse spazzing out a bit. So I just want to tell you guys that it's meant to happen. So I'll show you guys what I mean after we die. So I'll just come back to you guys when I'm dead, and then we can begin the macro. Okay, we are dead now, pretty much. Okay, let's go and begin the macro. It is gonna go by really quick, and I'll be explaining what's happening. So let's go and just wait. Don't. Okay, let's go and click play then. So let's see what happens. So as you can see, the macro is just played replay, and we are now just spazzing the mouse, as you can see. What the macro is trying to do right now is try to place units in any possible like area. Because of the map changing every single time, it is going to be hard for the player to know exactly where to place the units, which is why I make the macro randomize its unit placements. The units are going to be upgraded by the macro, and yes. Sometimes the macro doesn't work as intended, as in like you die at like wave 6, but just give the macro time to cook, and it will eventually lock in, and yeah, you'll be getting your stars. So if you guys do end up seeing the death screen at like wave 6, then don't think that the macro is not working, cause it does work. You just gotta like lock in, wait for it to lock in, I guess. So yeah, as you guys can see, the macro just placed something down. I'm not sure what it did, what it placed down, but I'm guessing it's my Sid, cause I'm seeing the unique particles. And also, depending on the kind of map that you're facing, like the map we have right now is a really good one for this macro, because the enemies are coming in from one path that we are currently right in front of, and my Sid is placed on the path, so any enemies that are coming this way are gonna be dead instantly, so we could be able to make it to like a really high wave with this. But say if we have like another map where the enemies are spawning from like an entire different path and we aren't close to it, then we're gonna end up dying multiple times because the macro can't really move the character to a good place, if that makes sense. And hopefully we don't die at like wave 6, because that would be like a pretty bad example. But yeah, let's just see how the macro goes. Yeah, okay, we just died at wave 6. That's not really good. But just trust the macro. But yeah, the macro does work, trust me. But that's just like that's meant to happen. It's meant to happen. Just give the macro time to adjust, and you'll come back overnight AFK, and you'll have gems or stars in your account more than what you had before. So that's basically how the macro works. It just spams place units in every possible direction, and depending on what kind of units you have, it could end up with you guys winning the wave 50, and you might have a chance to get Buddha or Dark Mage. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you guys have any questions about the macro, then just ask it in the comments or in my Discord server. And yeah, that's gonna be it, I guess. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye bye.